Monday's Moment video, which is being recorded on what is outside a pretty grey, dark winter's day, which is very foggy out there, despite my watch saying that it's 6 degrees and partly cloudy. It's pretty cloud covered and foggy out there. Today I want to really talk about what I learned in the Lifestyle Business Summit that I went to last week in London with Daniel Priestley. And one of the lessons that I learned that day that connected with one of the most valuable lessons I learned from the book by Jim Collin, Great by Choice. And that is that we need to fire our musket balls before our cannonballs. And I'm going to talk more about how Daniel Priestley talked about that in one of his amazing talks during last week's Lifestyle Business Summit. See you in a moment. Now, in the summit last week, Daniel took a moment in one of the talks that he gave, and he had some amazing guests, by the way, as well as Daniel's talks himself. But he had some amazing guests. But in one of his talks, he talked about military structure, and he talked about the need to have I'll get my slides up here. He talked about the fact that the military have this structure that has been formed over hundreds of years, thousands of years, and that the structure has been proven by many successful militaries, such as some of the big countries. I'm not going to name countries because that would be wrong, but some of the big countries that are out there. And he talked about the fact that we need to look at their structure and the way that they implement this structure so that we can actually look at that in our businesses. And what he talked about, first of all, was the very, very important structure, which really ties in with those musket balls that Jim Collin talks about. The scout team. And that a scout team is a team of two. It's a team of two sent out to build a concept of a minimum viable product in our businesses. They're going out there to see what the lie of the land is. They're going to test it. They're going to see what the appetite is for it. They're going to do the market research. In military terms, they're going to look at the lay of the ground. They're going to see what the enemy looks like, what our competitors look like. But very often we forget about the scout team. And sometimes we just go out there, and I know I've done it over the years gone by, and we send too many people out there to actually do that process of gathering data, gathering intel, and getting that product or that service or that business to that minimum viable product. Then in the middle, we need the fire team. And these are a team of 4 usually. And these might be the 4 people at the hierarchy at the top of the business or the bottom of the business, depending whether you're a servant business or what your hierarchy looks like. But these are the people that launch the minimum viable product. These are the people who are responsible for getting the momentum and getting it out into the world. The scout team is very covert. The fire team is out there launching the product, launching the service, launching the business. And it might be that you need a CEO, a chief financial officer, you might need somebody in operations, you might need a managing director here in the UK, but you've got, or sales of course, but you've got that team of 4 that are the going out there to get things started. And then you've got down in that bottom corner, you've got the core team, the delivery team, the implementation team as I call it. And this is the team that takes that real heart of the business, the real element of the business, and they make it work. They implement it. They make it work like clockwork. They make it work like a well-oiled machine. And that's something that we need to think about. Think about that military structure. Think about that lesson learned in Jim Collin's book, Great by Choice, that we have to fire musket balls to see that we're on target, see that our range is right before we waste all of our energy and all of our big ammunition in cannonballs. It's exactly the same with this. We need to look at how we can use the scout team, the fire team, and the core team to deliver a product, a service, and work in our business. And ultimately, if we get these three things right, we get so much more leverage in our business. We can get so much more results by just a small amount of effort. Okay, so how will you leverage that structure that I've just talked about in your business in the week and the months ahead? Now, as I record this, it's the end of what's coming towards the end of 2022. But wherever you are, whether you're watching this now live and we're heading towards 2023 and you're thinking about what we're going to do next year, what we're going to do that's new, what we're going to do that's innovative, I mean, let me give you no doubt, the year ahead is going to be one of change. It's going to be one of challenges, certainly, but it's going to be a magical time of opportunities as well. An opportunity for us to step out, be different, and to make the most of what's out there. So what are you going to do that and make the most of it? By setting up your structure. If you're watching this any other time and you're watching the recording of it, it's exactly the same, whether you think about the summertime, whether you think about it in seasons, or whether you're just thinking about it next week. If you'd like to share some stories and some lessons, then message me directly to be on my podcast. I'd love to have you as a guest on my podcast. If you're a full-time business coach, consultant, or advisor, I've got a free Facebook group and you'll see it go across there. You can access that and join that group by just going to coachessuccessgroup.com. So that's coachessuccessgroup.com. I'd love to have you, if you're a coach, advisor, or a consultant, in that group where I share more lessons very particular to help you scale your practices and grow your business. For coaches, it's an incredible time for 2023. It's an incredible time to set people up to be the best that they can be so that they thrive, not just survive. And for anybody who's a business owner watching this as well, think about it. Think about what you can do in the year ahead and think about that structure that I've got up on my little post-it note here to remind me. That's why you keep seeing me look over there. I hope this is giving you something to think about, and I hope to see you on next week's Monday's Moment video. And don't forget, you can be a podcast guest. You can listen to it as well. If you search for Sterling's Business Success and Coffee podcast, you can find it on all the platforms. Leave us a review and tell us what difference it's made for you. And I'll see you on next week's video. Bye for now.